Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. So tonight's date, 10/30, 2024. And boy, is there a lot of stuff going on. So wanted to grab some news from a different perspective here as a dad, husband, Christian, starting to see everything at this point in time start falling apart. There's this desire for us to have our country being something that we can have a voice and has freedoms and laws that we can protect. But it just seems that now, as we get down to this next election, that people are being more divisive than any other time in history, and that we're starting to see the whole world crumble around us. Hopefully this is not the case. Hopefully we get into this next election cycle and things are great. Hopefully things transfer peacefully. But I'm going to be staying up to date with you guys, hopefully grabbing news from all over and trying to keep you up to speed on stuff. So thanks for joining tonight. So I'm going to just join with one of the verses that I had looked today. So, Israel's fighting on a 7-front war. I don't know if you guys are following into the Israel stuff, but Israel is surrounded right now with enemies, which is crazy because if we were surrounded with enemies, it would be overwhelming. But yet Israel is managing to fight back in all these different fronts, and we just need to be praying for Israel. It's constant. It's constant at night, daytime, just the amount of sitting to think rockets are going to fly into our neighborhood at any given time. A siren may go off or whatever. So I pulled some different things. If you check on any of the news, it's showing that they are on 7 fronts. But one of the things we need to realize that as believers, if you're a believer in God, you actually have more of a revelation than the people of Israel have right now. Most people in Israel are not Christians. They're not believers. They don't follow the Bible. And if you go to a Christian church in the United States, you actually know more about end time events and prophecy and Israel and how God wants to hold Israel in its hands. And can you imagine being in Israel and not knowing that? Every single day waking up and feeling like this could be your last moment. And I think that's a lot of the things that Israel's making decisions for right now. They're trying to determine things that are going on, and they don't have the full picture. They don't know God's got their back. Paul quoted it multiple places, and you guys can look it up. I won't quote it now, but there's so many things that talk about in the Bible how God's going to protect Israel. They don't even have that. So we're going to check on some stuff. So yeah, voter fraud. One of the things that I've been hoping wasn't the case. I'm going to play this video for you. Polls are supposed to stay open till a certain time, no matter what. If the polls are open till 4, 4:30, or 5, but we're already seeing in some of these states that are allowing for early voting, we're seeing that some of the polls that there's fishy business going on. So check this out. This is what I saw.
Explain to you.
Please.
Okay. This process is very slow and grueling.
That doesn't matter if we're online.
Very slow and grueling.
It doesn't matter if we're online by 4:30. We have the right to.
So why is the police officer saying the process is slow and grueling and we need to shut this line down? I mean, it makes no sense.
It had to close because a high volume of people want to do this. It's slow and grueling.
Well, then they
So
have to wait
had
till everyone's.
They had to cut the line at 1:45.
They cut the line at 1:45.
1:45.
You hear that, everyone? They cut the line at 1:45.
Here's your.
This is voter fraud, by the way.
No,
Who
it's not.
Yes, it is.
So come to find out, did a little research. I guess that lady right there in the purple, she's a Democrat activist of some kind. So interesting, cutting some of these polls. The reason why a lot of times they're doing that is they're finding out that the vote for President Trump early in these polls is higher than for Kamala Harris. So they notice that a lot of Republicans are coming out early. So I'm not sure how you vote, but wouldn't you want a free election, free and fair? One way or the other. It doesn't matter how we vote. We should all have the same values as Americans. We should want free and fair elections. We should want our laws protected. So grab this one here, this next one here that I found. So there was something going on the other day where at President Trump's, hold on for that, President Trump's thing that he did at Madison Square Garden. So he had a comedian come out. There's been so much stifling of the comedians. They can't even tell jokes anymore. because if they tell a joke, then it ends up making somebody mad, triggering somebody, and then, that's the end of it. So he had said something about Puerto Rico, the comedian, not President Trump. So it's like, all the mainstream media is saying, okay, if this was at a President Trump event, then that must be how President Trump thinks. But here is a slight show of approval, which it's actually a huge show of approval in Puerto Rico. People that are supporting President Trump. So, obviously not everybody took it the wrong way. And then the next day they had, I think it was the congresswoman from Puerto Rico. She's kind of, I think they call her shadow congresswoman or something like that, because Puerto Rico has a little bit different representation. So she actually came out and said Puerto Ricans are for President Trump. She's a Republican from Puerto Rico. And then President Biden comes out and, I don't know if he's trying to help Kamala Harris's stuff or if he's trying to hurt her stuff, but one way or the other, he comes out and he starts talking about how the whole idea behind all this with Puerto Rico and I'll just let you listen to it and then I'll comment on it.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
So this has been all in the news. So President Trump just got called. Well, all his supporters got called. Yeah. So did President Biden mean to say that? Who knows? At this point, we don't even know what President Biden is trying to say. It's one of those things. But, if every supporter is what President Biden just called him.
His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
So, interesting turn of events. He's not helping Kamala Harris any, because every time he ends up speaking, he ends up taking the spotlight away from her. And then, most of the time he doesn't know which direction is what. So the next one here, interesting, already fishy business going on. So there's breaking news that came out the other day, or 7 hours ago, that was talking about in Pennsylvania, I think it is. Let me look. Yeah, I think it was Pennsylvania. But it was showing how there's a video, and on the video, it's showing that there's already votes in, and Harris is already ahead. So none of these votes have been tallied yet, and they said it was accidentally released. They were testing the system. But can you imagine if you're not following things and you didn't think that it was, I'm sure they didn't come out afterwards and go, oops, sorry, we messed up. But then they show this and you're getting ready to go to the polls and you're like, wow, we're already, we want President Trump to win and we're already behind by 300,000 votes. And, we still got all this time left, so Trump must be losing. And so whether they meant to do this or not, it happened. And then, for them to clear it up, they didn't really clear anything up. So that went out during a NASCAR event right there, which was interesting to see. And then I got another one for you. So one of the things that's interesting, everybody's always saying President Trump is, he's horrible. He's this, he's that. Mostly the Democrats are saying that, people on the left. While President Trump is no perfect saint, there are no political parties that are perfect in any way, shape, or form. But if you sit there and you look at the understanding of one to another, I'm just going to play this clip. You have to take people at their face value. There's been nothing that President Trump has done that has made people think, hey, I'm anti-Christian, anti-God. Yeah, he's not perfect, but he's trying to stop abort the babies and trying to put that back to the states, which as believers, if Christians are voting for a party that supports that, that's tough. I don't know, they may say I support all these other things with Kamala Harris and the Biden administration, but when you have an administration that's supporting that, at what point do believers make a base argument and try to set the rest of the stuff as being unimportant? That should be one of the most important things. So let's just hear what he says.
We're going through a lot of problems in our country. If you take a look at the anger, the the problems that we have. And a lot of it is that it's less based on religion now than it was 25 years ago and 50 years ago. And I mean, we were people would say, a Christian and really religious, even other faiths country. And that seems to be heading in the wrong direction.
Which is how our forefathers intended it. They wanted us to be able to have freedom of choice, freedom of religion. At which point, you know, the party of the liberals have basically got to the point where, you know, they used to be able to allow free speech and they wanted to be able to be heard, and now they don't want anybody else to be heard. They want them to be the only voice out there.
And I think as that goes down, I think that our country goes down. I really do. I think this is a country that needs religion. It's like the glue that holds it together, and we don't have that. That's why you are the most important people, and I'm not sure you even realize it. Look, we're going through a lot.
So, you know, is he lying, or is he open to the understanding that, you know, Christians formed the foundation of this country? You guys have to make that decision. So let's watch one more. And a lot of it comes out to, you know, how does somebody come across to you? So let's watch one of our Kamala Harris things. She was recently doing a couple different things at churches and stuff because, you know, there was a rally. You guys probably saw that. She was at a rally. Somebody yelled, "Praise Jesus." She told him, "Oh, you're at the wrong rally. You should be down the street, the smaller rally." I think she was trying to be funny, but it didn't come off well. And obviously she had to do damage control after that point. So they sent her to some churches, which was protested, which was a joke. But check this out.
Kamala Harris has added a new character to her playbook, the pastor.
So, quick question. Why does she have so many voices? I don't know. I don't get it.
Democratic candidate debuted a bizarre new accent during an appearance at the Church of Christian Compassion in Philadelphia.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
Well, alrighty then. So, I don't know. Does that seem genuine to you? It's for you to figure out. So I'll keep you up to date on some more news, checking out some stuff now, looking at some different things. But hope you guys have a great evening, a great morning, or great afternoon whenever this catches you. And if you could do me a favor, if you could just hit the thumbs up, give me a like, that would be awesome. That helps the YouTube algorithm. And if you could subscribe, that would be appreciated also. And if you want me to do some research on something, shoot it in the comments. But let me know. Give me a 1 in the comment if you're thinking that you're believing Kamala Harris was genuine in that last one. Give me a 2 in the comments if you're a little bit suspect of all these voices and some of the genuineness of that. So 1 for genuine, 2 for not genuine. All right, guys. Have a good evening.